Hello, football fans. The rest of Week 13 is in the books, and while I've already discussed the four games that took place on Thanksgiving and Black Friday, let's talk about the rest of the week and what took place. Yeah. So the Bills won the AFC East because, of course, they did. Yeah. Wonder whatever happened to that character who said they would go 9-8 and miss Stephon Diggs. Oh wait, that was me. But anyway, yeah. So they won the division. It was easy. I mean, you still needed Miami to lose. You're welcome, Bills fans. And they did it. And then on the first of the month, too. So with about, what, with 5 weeks left of the season, they won the division. Now they have 5 weeks to get more wins together and try to get that number one seed. Beating the Chiefs earlier this season helps them. But they've got the division again, fifth straight year. They've won a division every year this decade so far. And like I said, there's nothing left for them to do except try to get that number one seed. If they so much as tie the Chiefs in the standings, they've got it. So we'll see how that works for them. As for the team the Bills slaughtered, the 49ers, yeah, they're screwed. They are so finished. And I think it's more than just injuries. They just can't seem to just get it together. They really can't. I mean, they're down to 5-7. They have the same record as Dallas. And the only thing keeping them ahead of Dallas is the fact that they trounced the Cowboys earlier this season. But it's a lost season, especially with that man right there, Christian McCaffrey. He's gonna be out for the year again, and their RB2, Jordan Mason, he's gonna be out. So yeah, they're gonna be grasping at straws trying to piece together something. Even though the NFC West is kind of a mess, it doesn't look good for the Niners. It really doesn't. Serves are right though. Russell Wilson is that guy, at least for Pittsburgh, isn't he? So the Steelers won an offensive slobber knocker over the Bengals, 44-38, 82 combined points. The Steelers' offense operated at a level that we haven't seen from this team since Big Ben and Hines Ward and Le'Veon and all those crazy characters were part of that group, you know. And they pieced it together against the Bengals. This is just another humiliating loss for them. You know how bad this is for Cincinnati? Teams this year, when they score 30 points a game, they've only lost 7 games. The Bengals have 4. They have 4 of those losses. With Burrow and Chase tearing it up, and I don't know, because I have Chase on fantasy, and he's been a godsend for me. Burrow and Chase are tearing it up, but they are 4-8. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. They're being wasted. It's just terrible. I mean, this was supposed to be like a rebound year. Burrow's healthy. He's tearing up, but the defense is just, ugh. It's awful. Absolutely awful. Cardinals, you had one job. You had one damn job, and you messed it up. They were up 19-6. It looked like, and I trusted Arizona to do this because Arizona's that type of team. They're kind of good this year, and they're that type of team that can kind of mess with teams. So I figured, hey, Arizona's going to handle Minnesota. They were. Then the fourth quarter happened. You know, it's frustrating. You know, the NFC North is the group of death this year. It's basically it's basically the three wise men and the Chicago Bears. um, but yeah, the Vikings still remain ahead of us. They're 10-2. They got the 10 wins for we did. And the most frustrating part isn't the fact that they keep somehow winning. That's not what frustrates me the most. What really upsets me the most about all of this is this. Lo and behold, there's their former quarterback, Kirk Cousins. Kirk had an embarrassing game this past Sunday. At home against the Chargers, he threw 4 interceptions, the fourth one clinching a win for the Chargers. Kirk played terribly, terribly in that game. The Falcons are down to 6-6. They're in first place only because the NFC South again is a shit show. You know, even when Tampa Bay won that overtime thriller against Carolina, That put them to 6-6, but Atlanta has a tiebreaker. They swept the season series, so they're still the first place team. And this again, this is what upsets me the most about Minnesota playing so well. Because for years they kept saying Cousins is the problem. Cousins is the problem. He's caught. They blamed him for the losses. But when it was clear, he didn't have much around him because they kept getting rid of good players. Cousins was almost by himself. It was just him and Jefferson. But nobody wanted to hear that. And Cousins got injured last year, out for the season, and the Vikings went from a playoff contender to out of it. And right then I said, maybe Vikings fans will learn to appreciate him now that this happened. Instead, they get rid of him, and I'm ready to laugh at the Vikings like, you'll like you hear the cartoons. You'll be sorry. You know that? Now, with Sam Darnold, they have 10 wins. Kirk Cousins is struggling and only in first place because the division is a toxic waste dump. The worst part about the Vikings having this good season, Vikings fans who are so entitled, even though that team hasn't been to the Super Bowl in almost 50 years, Vikings fans are saying, see, we told you so. We told you Cousins sucks. Get this. Next week, the Falcons go to Minnesota. Now, I'm looking forward to this being a revenge game for Cousins, but unfortunately, he may not start that game. They're considering benching him. So, oh boy. All I have to say about this idiot is, oh boy, we all saw that dirty hit. It's a dirty hit. There are people so tone deaf that want to speak up for him. His coach, for one, and people try to say, "Well, Trevor Lawrence slid too late." He was 6 yards away from Al Shahir when he slid. This was a targeted hit, and the punishment's been handed out. I think it's a 3-game suspension for him, which really isn't enough for something like that because he's done this type of shit before. Remember, he punched Rashawn Johnson in week 2. They did something dirty to Tony Pollard. So it is what it is, I guess. Man, this really saddens me. I love kickers. I think kickers get picked on too much. They say, well, they're not real athletes. They're not part of the team. Yet Tom Brady's first 2 rings were off the foot of Adam Vinatieri, but people forget that. They want to focus on Scott Nolan missing that field goal years ago. But this guy right there, Justin Tucker, the greatest kicker of all time, and it's not even close. You name it, you name the distance, he can make it. And we can make it blindfolded. That was the case forever. This year, not so much. And it continued this week. He missed 2 field goals and an extra point. That's 7 points missed. The Ravens lost by 5. And it saddens me. Not because I'm a fan of not just because I'm a fan of kickers, but because I'm a big supporter of Lamar Jackson. And in my defense, I always say Tucker's the only player he can depend on. He's the only teammate he can depend on. That has not been the case this year, and it sucks. And of course, week 13 ended with this crazy game, which I thought was going to be kind of stiff, but it ended up seeing a lot of points and a lot of drama, especially for me as a fantasy football owner. Jerry Jeudy, I needed 19 points from him. He got 40, so he saved my ass in one league, and I got saved again on that last play because in 2 of my matchups, I was facing against Denver's defense. And Denver's defense returned 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions back. Had they returned a third, I would have lost 2 matchups. So yeah, this was a crazy game. So that is my recap of week 13. The link to my story on Vocal is up above. Check it out. Week 14 will kick off with Packers-Lions. Big NFC North matchup. And I'm ready for it in Detroit. Sunday football is Chargers and Chiefs. Monday Night Football is Bengals and Cowboys. That's gonna be also gonna be on Disney Plus because it's gonna be Simpsons animated. And again, it should be very interesting for the rest of the way. So if you like this video, click the like button. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe if you want more. If you're on TikTok, feel free to hit that follow button. And I'll be back tomorrow to discuss the playoff picture and who can clinch. So stay tuned.